Hello to the chicos and the chicas. We are going to revive a long forgotten series, and that is going to be the Coach Reacts, hence the headphone on my head. A quick intro. Today on the menu is going to be a game played by HotshotsJelly, aka Fat Belly Matt Kelly. He is a very enthusiastic supporter of my content, in particular on stream but also on YouTube. I've already YouTubed the game that he played on my request, and this is the second time. However, this time around you get to see the gentleman because he recorded himself. So we are going to jump right into his recordings. That dude there is HotshotsJelly, aka Fat Belly Matt Kelly, and he has already started his game, and we are going to join in at 4:58. Let's go and hear what he says.
For this setup, so he's either going to be playing the Shezhnikov or the accelerated dragon. So usually I play this move just to kind of like throw him off, because he might end up playing here, just a waiting move, because it's kind of a different. He can still go into the accelerated dragon.
Right, I'll stop him right there because it hurts me to listen to this. Sorry, buddy, but yeah, whilst I am definitely going to be a big friend of this video, this is something that we need to tidy up. I forgot to put forward, by the way, that if I could pick a characteristic trait that I would like to have in every single chess player who aspires to be a better player than what they are, generally speaking on club level, I would want them to be a little bit like HotshotsJelly, which is that he has got a really keen eye for attacking chess, very limited respect for material, and he has got this unwavering optimism that I really like about this guy, that whatever he does, he believes. Right? There's no negativity, no, oh, I have done this badly or whatever. And even when there is, he sort of circumvents that by the, okay, I'm going to just throw everything at them and I'm still going to be fine. Now, as for this knight c3 nonsense, this is complete bollocks, and I really want you to be very well aware of what you are doing. So, HotshotsJelly is a very keen player of the Sicilian defense, right? When his opponent played knight c6, he said that it's either going to be a Sveshnikov or a accelerated dragon. Now, knight c3 is not going to have an impact on either of them. If they are Sveshnikov players, they're going to play knight f6 and you play d4, and it's going to be a Sveshnikov. We accomplished zilch. If they are a Dragonista players, they will play g6, after d4 take, bishop g7. We accomplished zilch again. In fact, we hurt ourselves, because by having played knight c3 too soon, we cut out the Maroczy bind option against the accelerated dragon. Additionally to all of this, if they play e5, then we can't now play our beloved open Sicilian, which I know that HotshotsJelly loves to play, and instead we are forced into this positional system, which theory considers to be perfectly fine for black. And it is very maneuvery chess, right? So this is not exactly what HotshotsJelly wants. So when he went for this knight c3 randomness, there was absolutely nothing to be gained. Nothing. And there was a lot to lose in terms of what types of positions he was aiming for. So I very strongly advise against trying these, you know, very clever move orders to hope that your opponent is going to play something ridiculous. Like, obviously, if they are a dragon players, they're not going to play e6. The only way how some Sicilian players do get to trick their opponents is if they play knight c3 on move 2. This is where you get to be a little bit cheeky, because here a lot of players' gut reaction is to play knight c6, anticipating either a closed Sicilian or a Grand Prix. And if I now switch back to knight e2, then all of a sudden we are in a Sicilian where black now cannot play a lot of Sicilian lines that they might have wanted to, such as the Khan, the Najdorf, the Sveshnikov, and a few others. So this way you do get to trick them. Like, Najdorf players are a little bit stuck here. They can play d6, but you know, that allows check, for example, in some variations of the Grand Prix and so on. So there is something to be gained here with this move order with knight c3 1, but on 2. But after knight c6 has been played and we identified what lines they are going for, and then we realized that knight c3 is not messing with either, it was just a total waste of time and risking actually, certain lines that we might not be as familiar with. All right, back to our good friend. And we are going to jump to 620. I want to show you here a little line arena.
Dragon setup, which I can just play bishop c4 here, I believe. Because the dragon setup, I want to get my bishop on c4. I want to get my bishop on e3, and I also want to get my queen on d2, queenside castle f3, and push my pawns and try to mate them. So that's my idea here. I just know I should probably play this. So
no, you shouldn't. What you described was beautiful, and it actually demonstrated a very good level of understanding of the opening in terms of he immediately displayed what setup he was going to play for, which was bishop here, f3, queen d2, bishop c4, queenside castle, g4, h4, h5, mate. However, there is again a level of accuracy that is required here to play it as precisely as possible. And the precise move order here is bishop e3 first, then queen d2, then f3 to deny knight knight g4. And now with black castles, this is the moment when black is threatening with d5. This, by the way, is a textbook case of not only memorizing your lines, but understanding the moves, every single one of them. Now black's next move, if you don't look out, is d5. That is the reason why, against castles, the main line is d5, which is the reason why players started to play bishop c4 here, because this move prevents d5, and likewise, for example, yours truly, I deploy here the g4 variation, which also denies d5 by virtue of, throwing in g5 and winning the d5 pawn. So there's a crystal clear logic here. It's not just I develop, you develop, and brain their chess. No, that never is the case, or hardly ever. Always look for meaning behind moves. So now after castles, d5 is pending, hence bishop c4. The way he did it was that he went bishop c4, then he went bishop e3, and then he went f3 here to deny knight g4. The problem with this setup, or this move order, is that both this and this are a little bit loose, and queen b6 here is actually a playable variation and is somewhat annoying, especially if you don't have it fully worked out. For example, after knight f5, queen b2, knight g7, and king f8. Surprisingly, black is doing pretty okay here. Yeah, two knights are hanging, one we check, and bishop h6 is illusions, guys. Like, even if I didn't win 700 pieces here, which I did, this knight has no good checks to go to, even if, like, I didn't capture, once again, 1500 pieces. So, and likewise, by the way, if we drop back here after queen b6 to bishop b3, then comes the classic trick of knight takes e4, hanging d4 with a few too many. So, move orders do matter. And on this level, you might begin to get hurt. In this game, our opponent was completely oblivious and played a6, which is a total anti-chess move because in the Dragon, we hardly ever play a6. There is one line, but barring that, yeah, it's very unusual. Okay, back to friend. Back to friend, and let's just skip a little bit ahead.
But I'm trying to get him into the dragon setup, and I think I will be able to get him into it, and then I get to go f3, g4, and h4, and try to kill him on the king side here. So
see that? That's my man. That's my man. He is telling you he's gonna kill his opponent on the king side on move 6. That is the mentality you wanna have. You know what opening you are playing. It's not gank optimism in the sense that he already knows he's gearing up for a dragon. He knows he's likely to get his king side attack, and he's excited. This is what I like. He just put his foot forward and he goes like, nah, I'm coming after ya. This is so good to listen to.
This is attacked twice, so I have to defend it. And these trades should be good for me. Not
Correct.
sure why it says the accelerated dragon. He has d6 in, which is very nice for me. Now I'm going to play f3 here. I don't know if I need to play f3. Oh yeah, I do need to play f3 because if I go queen d2, he has knight g4.
So he has got almost all the building blocks correct. It was just one tiny slip that he started with bishop c4, but everything else is coming into place beautifully here, falling into place.
So f3 defends against that, and so I don't have to worry about d5 because he already pushed d6, so he can go that he can't go that all one go. He already used one tempo, so if he already goes d5, it's okay for me, I believe.
Yep, very good. So he did here a comparison, and that was a self-check-in. I will show you what he was talking about here. So in the accelerated dragon, the main line in this position after bishop b3 is d5. A very sexy pawn sacrifice with the idea of takes and then knight b4. And he's very cleverly and expertly comparing that to the game scenario where d6 has been played. And so, you know, d5 ideas here would mean that black wasted a tempo on playing d5 by doing it in 2 moves. So that was really cool. I am doing it on the wrong layout. It's going to inevitably happen in once or twice in this video. So once again, yeah, the d5 scenarios in this move order simply do not work. Back to you, buddy. And back to here.
Oh no, okay. Well, I just go queenside castle. Still have my setup here. I'm going to go g4, h4, go for a huge attack. He's going to struggle, I think. We'll see. It's hard to play for black, I know that.
Once again, I just played this for you because the self-confidence, the optimism, the belief in the attack. Like, HotshotsJelly loves attacking and he understands the psychology of the attack. If you are attacking, your opponent is on the back foot psychologically by default, unless they are lovers of defense. Most people aren't. And so he's in his comfort zone and he's very happy with that. And very often that mentality tends to overwrite objective evaluations even, especially the lower you go, the more true it is. Like, you can play -2 with white. If you like the position and you feel comfortable, you are going to win a lot of games, even though your position may be garbage. Because as long as it's, you know, something that you understand well and you enjoy playing, that to some degree can compensate for objective value. It's definitely not a recipe for success in the long run. But at certain phases of your career, depending on what side of the ladder, or rather what part of the ladder you are when you're climbing the rating ladder, this can work very, very nicely. Okay, next.
Yeah, h4 I think is fine here. And I might go h5 after.
So we have this king side, opposite side castle scenario, and he's now contemplating what is he going to do after black's next. So he has just played h4, and now he's thinking about how the rest of the attack is going to unfold.
I just have to watch out for some weird...
Oh, that's right. I know why I put this in. This is probably his greatest mistake in the game, both conceptually or strategically, if you like, and also precise calculation-wise. Carefully listen to what he's doing here.
Tactics like this. Because he might go h5. Yeah, h5. And then I go here, right? He takes and I take. Oh. I want to push g4 really badly. I can go king b1.
Note to all viewers. Did you hear what he said? I wanna play g4 very badly. I'm gonna do a spoiler here for you here. He's not going to do that. This is a textbook case of the video that I did couple of weeks ago when I did a video about how you talk yourself into bad moves, and another video about how not to talk yourself out of good moves, or rather to talk yourself into the good ones. Textbook case here. He has the right move. He wants to play it, and then he doesn't do it. So that is the only moment in the game where he goes against his perfect attacking instinct and plays a chicken move. But it's very interesting to actually see the anatomy of this decision making. Once again, listen carefully to the lines, or the lack of, what he's calculating and saying here.
Yeah, king b1 because I want to step out of this.
Out of what? Makes no sense, but I'll come back to this.
Because he could eventually get this if I push g4. Okay, so like...
Storytelling. No lines, no precise moves, no calculation whatsoever. Just complete random science fiction storytelling.
Bishop takes, knight takes. Feels bad. That feels
right. So now I need to actually jump onto the board because this is so bad. He's right. It is really bad. So let's see what he's talking about here. And I need to go really hard on this because for his sake and for everyone else's sake who would like to learn from this. So he calculated here. G4 takes, knight takes, and he goes bad. And somehow he's afraid of this. Completely doesn't even recognizes the fact that the bishop trade is on. After which I can go rook g1, I can go h5, I can go whatever. Right? Like, it's a raging, absolutely raging attack for white. Zero threats, zero tricks. Like, I would probably play h5 here. And we have nothing to fear. Like, this is almost knockout. If I had this position in front of him and I told him that, oi, buddy, you can have this with white. Are you taking it or are you rejecting it? He would be like, he wouldn't have allowed me to finish the sentence. He would be like, give it to me right now. I'm playing this. And yet, and it's not a difficult calculation. So this is a textbook case of talking himself out of a good move that he feels is right. Just to justify a really sissy, meaningless move that steps out of a motive that I have never in my entire life seen working in the dragon. Ever. So yeah, it's just a very straightforward calculation and he stops here. Another major mistake which I always tell people not to do. That when there is tension in the position, there are pieces capturable. You can't stop, man. Like, that's like, you know, stopping putting out of a fire when half of the flames are gone. And you go like, yep, done. It's like, no, it's not. The living room is still on fire and there is someone, you know, choking in the smoke over there. You just started. Do your job. Go through. Follow through. Finish it. And you just go, yep, take, and ta-da, I've got zero problems. The attack is coming in like mad. It's all over. This I'm hammering home real hard, and I feel justified because this is typically what he usually doesn't do. So I'm actually a little bit surprised, and I'm contradicting somewhat myself about optimism, you know, and all that type of stuff. But obviously, if he hadn't made these mistakes, he would be now 2,500.
Pretty bad. Yeah, so if I just go king b1, then I can push that. King b1, then I go g4 next turn. I think that's fine. I think that's the idea. So, like, if I... Yeah, I should just go king b1 and then push g4 next turn. And then he takes, and then takes. And I'm going to be down a pawn. Well, goes here too. I have rook g1, rook g1.
So I find this, what he's doing here, if I said a total waste of time, that would be very harsh. But what he's doing here is really impractical because he in his head is already committed to king b1. Then he is not counting on an opponent counter move. He's then checking how good his g4 is gonna be without taking into account that black is gonna have another move here, right? So he's not doing king b1, rook c8, and then g4. which is what you should be doing, right? King b1, then pick the most anticipated response to it, whatever that may be, and then you calculate against that. He's not doing that. This is a terrible calculating technique, what we are observing here, which is he's already committed in his heart to king b1, and he wants to check how good his g4 is gonna be without offering a move for black. Well, we don't get to play two moves. So this is a waste of time, really.
But then he's guarding this, so I can't push h5. This is hard. Alright, well, I'll just go king b1 because I think king b1 is the right move. Because I want to step out of that, and I want to be able to go g4, so maybe I should go... Maybe I want to go rook g1. Right away. Because if I go rook g1, then g4, then I can push, then he takes, and you go here. Yeah, it's just king b1. I'm going with king b1. That's my gut instinct.
No, it's not. Your gut instinct was g4, friend. And that's what you should have done. And now he talked himself into king b1. I wanted you to replay this whole section because I wanted you to observe that in this period, there was not a single line calculated. Feel free to rewind the video. You will find it out. My definition of calculating lines is that you calculate a line, you come to its end, you evaluate it, and you make a decision based on that. This process did not take place at all. None whatsoever. None. Zilch. Absolutely nothing. And in the end, he actually talked himself out of g4 on account of nothing other than science fiction, and talked himself into king b1, also based on nothing but the desire to play a chicken move. Now, additionally to this, I would like to show you one more thing, which makes it really, really painful. And that is none other than the fact that after g4 takes, he actually shouldn't take g4 at all. h5 is completely winning. Which is, by the way, the thematic attacking move, which he also happens to know. I know that he does. And after knight takes h5, bishop takes... if king takes, then rook takes h5 is immediate resigns. Because takes is check, 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 and mate. Yeah, so that's not playable. So they have to take back with the knight, and then you go queen h6, and now queen g6 is on against, like, this is what I was trying to say, that after knight h5, I don't even need to sack, because the pawn is pinned on f7, they have to go back, and it's mate. So long story short, after h5, oh, okay, sorry, I forgot to tell you gh, that's playable, and then knight d5, I think is best at eliminating the defender, followed by a penetration on g5, picking up h5. According to the engine, it's about +6. But bishop takes, rook h5 is also looking like $1 million. Like, you can pick here whatever you want. It's completely winning. And he didn't calculate any of this correctly, in fact, at all. No evaluations, no lines. I feel okay, I should play king b1. And he talked himself into this nonsense. And there is always price to be paid, although it's not going to be as bad as it could have, should have been. Actually, yeah, I thought that I missed something here. Let me just listen to this again.
Yeah, it's just king b1. I'm going with king b1. That's my gut instinct. Just to get the queen.
Yeah, no, okay. Let me move on to my next snippet down here.
Okay, well, I'm attacking the... If I just go here, then I'm attacking the rook at the same time, so he has to take with this, and I take here.
So what happened was that his opponent started to launch an attack with a5, and now he's calculating the consequences of a4 and how serious of a threat it is.
Yeah, so it's okay. I think I can just go g4 here, then. g4 takes. Oh, I can play this. Yeah, alright, we're gonna go there. Let's do this. g4 takes, then I go h5. I'm trying to murder him on the king side.
Once again, I like the talk. I like the talk. There is optimism here, friends. There is definitely optimism here. And I, for one, definitely love optimism. So the game followed so far the path of a5 and g4. Now there is, and I'm going to skip here a substantial part of the game and the self-commentary because I didn't find anything important for our purposes to reflect on there. But I wanted to highlight here that the price that was to be paid for King B1 is apparent in a line that wasn't played in the game at all, which would be to do something like A4, Bishop D5, and then B4. And now Bishop A8 loses to BC3, and then Black picks off the Rook, so we have to drop back. And then comes the shocking move, E5 double exclam. Even better, by the way, to do this, quite amazingly, with E5. And then if the bishop pulls back, then you play A4 and then B4. Because now white doesn't have a choice at all. Because if they drop back, then we take on D5. And now we have a scenario where white's attack is nowhere to be seen. And black is doing great. The reason why E5, this super ugly move, needed to be thrown in is simply because if we do it without E5, for comparison's sake, let's go with B4, knight here, knight takes, then now the trade is on, and this king is going to be utterly exposed. But if we have this with E5 and the bishop back here, then it's all fine and dandy. It's a very deep and lovely complex concept that took me a while actually to fully grasp and understand how it works. So one more time, take, and if I go h5 here, we can just simply keep on munching pawns, and there's just not enough oomph on the h file here. Knight c1, bishop e6, the black pieces are just too active. There's a lot of precise moves to be played here still for black, but trust me when I tell you this was definitely the way to go. Not what happened in the game, which is where we are going right now. We are going to take a substantial jump, and we go to 21, 12. Okay. This is a very interesting moment. I will talk to you about this in detail as well. Actually, no, before I play what he's talking about. Nah, let's see, actually. Let's see what it says.
I gotta bleep that out of the video.
Oh, yeah, he swore, but I skipped that.
Here.
Yeah, this is it. He has already calculated a lot of variations, the parts I skipped, and he continues to do so here, that incorporates or includes an absolutely inexplicable blunder, and that is that he doesn't realize that after queen g5 e6, the queens are tradable. And there's absolutely zero mention, not a single variation, both the ones that I skipped and the ones that he calculates, mention the fact that, yeah, this is the thing. So the game goes like this. And he calculates his guts out on queen g5 here, which I don't particularly find, by the way, an attractive move. I would much rather play rook dg1 here if I really was hell-bent on attacking on the king side, and only then queen g5, because then I have a threat. But he calculated queen g5 all the time, and then he calculates queen g5, e6, bishop b7, and he doesn't make mention of the fact that this is capturable at all. Sorry, wrong layout again. Yeah, like he just goes in for the queen e6, queen g5, excuse me, says e6, and he just overlooks this altogether. Like, that is a tremendous blunder, and he got very, very lucky that this whole scenario did not occur in the game.
Yeah, it's just annoying that my bishop's getting trapped. Maybe I should just go here, and then I have a retreat square.
Yeah, so that was it. I'm gonna skip through that too. Next bit. It's gonna be a good one.
Because my bishop's just trapped.
So here he's calculating variations based on the idea that once e6 is played, he's going to play bishop b7. Opponent plays rook b8, he goes bishop a6, opponent plays queen b6, and his bishop is gonna get trapped on a6. This is the context.
I really didn't want to play a move like this. Like,
I love you for that, young man. Funnily enough, it's one of the best moves by the engine, and nonetheless, I really, really respect him for saying and thinking that. Because his head is that I am running a vicious kingside attack, so I'm not playing a3. And as far as I'm concerned, best decision.
It's so, like, not in the spirit of the position.
Exactly. Absolute trooper.
Here, okay, I can go here to try to save my bishop, and then here, and then if he moves his queen away, then I go here. And this. You know what? I don't care though. I don't care if he takes my bishop, because I'm just gonna bring my knight in.
Yes. Yes.
I don't care. I think I just go in.
Yes. See, this is yummy. So good. So what does he do here? He says, Queen Rook dg1 e6, and he goes like, I'm gonna go for it, man. Yes, I can see that my bishop is gonna get trapped, but I also see that my queen is incoming, my knight will be able to come in, there will be stuff happening here. Objectively, wrong calculation, but you have to be sometimes able to see beyond what the engine tells you and what what lines the engine is spitting at you, and just be in the head of the players and understand their dramas, their concerns, their inner conflicts. And here it is very, very apparent that the black army is moving that way when the king is really exposed, and there is no attack on our king. Forget about that. Right? So the risk is definitely taken by black for taking this piece. And HotshotsJelly understands it really well. And this is where he excels. Where he goes like, yeah, just go over there, eat my bishop, no whackers, and then see my wrath and meet my fury. And that's exactly where this is going.
I think I just go f4.
He's talking about after that.
f4, he takes. It's just so annoying. What about this move?
Yeah. Okay, so moving on again. He's going to play bishop b7.
Okay, well, there you go, bud. We're going in.
Look at the happiness. He lost the piece. He's like, yeah, awesome, I'm coming in.
There's just no other play for me here, right? I just have to go in here. So I take with check here. So if he goes here...
By the way, I casually skipped here a mistake by black. They needed to play, instead of king h7, rook h8 would have held. But objectively speaking...
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Let me get back to that. This is going to be really fun.
Alright, knight d4, right?
5, but yes.
Clearance, sacrifice. Takes bishop there. Bishop gets his bishop out.
So this is comparing here ef5 with knight d5.
Yeah, I think I go knight d4 and
5.
trade and then push. And try to murder him.
So again, look at where his head is. Not counting the pieces. He's a piece down and 700 pawns. Maybe not. Anyway, point is, he's not concerned about material at all. He just goes, yeah, knight f6, I remove the h5 defender. I then take back f6. This is important to note, that idea. Followed by h5. The reason why I highlighted that it's important to follow that, because watch what happens.
His queen is out of the game right now. Because he can't push his d pawn as well to give me trouble.
Yep, there's a big thing here. Let me skip to next.
Yeah, this is one thing you should do as a player is, if you think you're losing, just, what I do is I just go all out. Like, I'm down a piece, I'm down, what am I down? I'm down 3 points of material, but I have compensation, right? I just have to get rid of this knight. That's the only thing. I just have to get rid of the knight. If I get rid of the knight, and I'm able to push here and open up this, I know I'm going to win.
See that? No worries. No problemo about material. He's already setting himself up for victory mentally. He sees what he wants to accomplish. He sees how it's done. Knight f6, h5, and he sees the value in his own pieces. And he's going to talk about the black ones now. Listen.
But it's just getting to that position, right? Getting to that position. He doesn't have any attack. Like, all of his pieces are kind of passive right now. Mine are active. I have queen that's active. I have a knight that's active. His knight's on the side. His bishop's staring into 2 pawns. So right now I have quite the position. That looks like a bad move. Like a very...
Another brilliant thing to note. I tell you this all the time. Very few people actually do it. Opponent's move lands on the board. What is the first thing he does? He evaluates it. He judges it. He judges the move. I spoke about this in my latest podcast a week or so ago with Daniel Lona, that people need to be judgmental about their opponent's moves. Call it. And he just did. And he did not hesitate for a second. As soon as it landed, he went like, that's bad. He didn't tell us what he anticipated, which would have made it a little bit more... multifaceted, or I suppose more complex, more enjoyable, that we have a comparison point. We don't, but nonetheless, his comment on that's bad is absolutely lovely.
Very bad move. Can I go here and then he goes here, right? Yeah, the idea was to take here. But he doesn't have, I don't have that. He's just trying to trade queens.
Unfortunately, I skipped the bit where, or I haven't found the bit where he finds out the winning concept, so I'm going to let this run a little bit, which is going to be a bit dead silence. But I don't want to spoil his glory by finding out the winning motif here, which is absolutely brilliant. So while he's stalling, I'm going to talk a bit.
I gotta go knight f6, right?
Yeah. Actually, let's turn it interactive. Can you guys find out the most winning forcing sequence here for white? Pause the video because HotshotsJelly is gonna reveal the goods very soon.
Knight f6 check. He takes with his knight. I take with my... Where do I just go here, man?
That's so good! This is everything I love about chess and chess coaching. These are the moments, as a chess coach, I live for. When you have a student who constantly calculates take, I retake as if it was a must, and then they cross that bridge where they go like, actually, no, I'm not going to take f6, I'm just gonna go h5. What a genius of a move, and how simple. Right? And ta-da! All of a sudden, all kinds of mates are threatened, and the 2 minor pieces are just going to blast this position absolutely brutally open. Sensational stuff.
Knight f6, he takes, and I go h5. He takes back. I sack the exchange, and I'm winning here. I take with check as well.
Another thing to observe, this is a 15-10 game. He's down to 245. Zero care. Like, a lot of players around this time would be like, oh, I was in time trouble. No, you are not. It's not even close. Look at how calm and measured he is in calculating what appears to be the decisive variation with 245 on the clock. Look.
I think I just go knight f6 check, honestly.
And also, he can do this now because he knows that he's on the verge of winning. And so if he checks his lines and they work, there's nothing that can stop him.
I just push? Like, do I just push and just try to run him over, like, totally? Like, I feel like he doesn't have enough time to defend. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think I just have to do it. Let's just go.
Okay, so now I'm going to be the party pooper because I have to be, and because of objectivity is still key. Unfortunately, this is only good enough for a draw. And it's a heartbreaker to me because it was just a marvelously conducted attack, and he really, really did the right thing more often than not in this game. And yeah, it's very unfortunate that both King G7 and Knight takes H5 hold the draw, with the idea that after Rook H5, the counter argument for recapture is not compulsory. King G7, rather King. Wait a second. No, sorry, I'm talking bollocks here. This loses. And pretty beautifully too, because here white has got actually Rook H6 with the sack threat, as well as Queen back and Rook H7. Wow, okay, never mind. Only one draw, and that one draw is King G7. And the problem here is that when we take this, then they have Rook H8. And now we can't really break him with the check, because then the king walks and walks. And this is a heartbreaker to see, man. This is a heartbreaker to see. A beautiful variation here is Rook H7 check. When after knight takes, pawn takes, king F8, queen F6 quadruple exclamation marks. Note the mating idea. Wow. Hello. And so the only move for black here is some queen c5 ideas. These are engine lines, by the way. Don't you think for a second that I'm coming up with these. And after king e7, queen g8. Like, I don't even understand the words I'm saying, but the engine says 000. Like, take, just to land on a humanly consumable variation. And although we are an exchange up, black has a lot of pawns. Wow. Okay, that was a hell of a line. There was a cleaner one from white's perspective, which was check, king, he, check, mate threat, rook, he, check, and then perpetual check. I actually understand what I'm talking about here. So let's go with this. So objectively speaking, this would have been a draw, but his opponent did not see it at all. And I will show you one more snippet from the video because it's so cool to watch. I really like this. Yeah, let's tune into this.
A lot of pressure here, so.
Look at that green.
I don't know, like the activity of these rooks. Like his rook is bad, this rook is bad, this queen is bad.
Look at him. Look at him.
This knight is.
I mean, okay, I spoiled it for you. You know that it's not good enough for a win, but I don't know if I would have held it with black, right? So, you know, this is a textbook case of 2 times 2 is 5. This is that deep dark forest. Now his opponent's time is ticking down. All kinds of mates are threatened. It looks deadly as hell. And obviously you get hyped up too.
Okay, I guess, but like I just think I might be able to win here.
Yeah, and I show you how he did win in the end because boy, the mate was absolutely breathtaking. So the game ended h5. The opponent took on e4. Our friend took g6 with a double check, rook h7 check, and the double check checkmate finished the business off. As far as I'm concerned, a very well earned, beautiful attack. Obviously, it had hiccups. In the opening and in the early middle game, I actually did have a fair go at HotshotsJelly for the mistakes and the lack of calculation, in particular about that nonsensical knight g4, bishop h6 fairy tale. But after that, it was pedal to the metal, and what a game. So yeah, shout out to HotshotsJelly once again. Thanks, buddy, for sending the game. I really enjoyed analyzing it and presenting it to YouTube. I hope you guys liked it too. For the record, I would like to stress, well, you did see that there were two 2080, 2040 players, so pretty high quality rapid chess. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is gonna be it for me for now. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will be back with the next video soon. Please don't forget to sub, to comment, to thank me, chuck a like, and super thank me if you can. I will send a proper shout out very soon to those, by the way, who very generously have donated a fair bit to my YouTube channel. Thank you. You know who you are, but I'm going to name you in one of my next upcoming videos. Thank you guys. Cheerio. Bye.